So for those who don't know me, my name is Nick, and we've established and been running Onepage with Marcel for 8 years together now. And this is the second Onepage workshop for us. We do a lot of events, but this is the second one which we do for Onepage. And I have to say we like it, and we excited to be giving back to our community with such events, and we strive to continue doing that. So I suggest a round of applause for everyone who's attending, who made it, despite of Deutsche Bahn, and you're great. Thank you. Alrighty, and I think an important thing about my background is that since maybe a little bit more than a year ago, I started digging deeper into AI myself and with the team. And today I'll be sharing some insights that I found out along the way with you. All right, so this slide doesn't make any sense because at this point you get it. And today we're talking about AI. And I kind of separated my speech into these 4 parts, and we'll start with that. Why everyone is even going for AI, what's so special about it. I'll talk about this a little bit about how we built Onepage AI and about some learnings that we had along the way while building it. It was not easy at all. Then I'll share with you a little bit of a playbook of what we do in Onepage in order to advance with AI as a company, because yes, we have a product which is Onepage AI, but we're also a company that has to adapt to AI more quickly. And I think a lot of things from this chapter, the 3rd chapter, will be very useful for you, regardless whether you're a tech owner, whether you're an agency owner, a freelancer, or an SMB owner. It kind of applies to everyone. And lastly, we'll talk about how Onepage AI will make this transition from the tool that you use to becoming a real partner for your AI workflows in 2026. A year ago, when I started working very closely with AI, I got thinking that the only thought that I had was, am I behind? So am I learning fast enough? Am I doing enough? And is everyone next, like to the left and to the right of me, are they better? Are they worse? Because it's super hard to benchmark yourself against this flow that never stops. Everyone's experimenting. There is no right and wrong. So it gives you a little bit of an anxiety. But it was in 2025. And in 2026, it's even worse. So sometimes you wake up and you read the AI news, especially if you follow AI news. Let's be honest, who reads about AI on Twitter, on X? So not too many people, but if you would, I mean, it would give you a lot of anxiety. And I'd like to make the first examples. I'd like to tell you a story which I didn't plan to tell, but it's a recent one. It just happened a couple days ago. So I'm talking to a friend of mine who happens to work in Onepage, and he's the developer, and he's a pretty smart one of the best we have for AI. And then he tells me a story about how he sets up this new AI agent, the Claude bot. Anyone heard about the Claude bot? A few. So for the rest of you, it's going to be a surprise and information. And this AI agent that is designed to think like a human, sort of. So it's the closest thing to the human intelligence that you can get. It's supposed to evolve. It consists of many files that it creates by itself. And the way it works is that you don't have to micromanage it. So you can tell it things that you want to do. And what it has to do, it has to evolve and learn skills by itself. So this is the design. And then my friend is playing around with it, and he set it up. And he's like, all right, so I'm working with it. It's great. There's so many nice things that we've done, and we are chatting with each other on Telegram or on WhatsApp. And then he asks it, so all right, can you play some music? Can you open up a Spotify and play some music? It's a stupid request, but if a bot can do anything, why wouldn't it play music? And then he kind of forgets about it, and music is not playing. So he continues working in a regular way. And in the evening, he gets back into this chat, and he's like, all right, so let's continue, let's do some stuff. And he writes to an AI agent, let's say, write me these lines of code. And the agent responds, I cannot do it. And then my friend, it gets him thinking, and he's like, all right, so let's try another task. And then he asks it, so do this. And the agent replies, I cannot do it as well. And then he, all right, so what the fuck? I mean, it's supposed to be working with so many people on Twitter that have fun with it. And he gets into the core files. So there is files that this agent creates for itself. And there is this one file which defines its personality. And this is the file where it keeps all the findings that kind of this bot found out during the work. And in the very bottom line, there was like, I cannot play music. I fail. I'm a failure, and I'm useless. And you know what happens? The bot just got depression. We have AI that is depressed now, and here am I. I'm thinking of myself as I'm pretty good with AI, and I'm having all these nice prompts, nice setup, and someone next to me is configuring the human-like bot that just got depressed. So this is what I'm talking about, where I'm saying, where am I? I don't understand anymore. The media doesn't help either. Some say that AI will replace 80% of jobs. It was set for 2024, in 2025, 2026, now 2030. Then some say it's just a hype. We shouldn't be worried about it at all. Then goes adopt it or die. Some writes it creates value, it destroys value. It's all contradictory. And the problem is that if those people who are close to LLM development, who are actually on the very forefront in the Silicon Valley, they are either operators, they founded these companies, or they're investors, if they disagree on what should we expect from AI in future, then how do we as a tech business owners, as small business owners, as agencies and freelancers, how are we supposed to even form a strategy to defend ourselves from taking our jobs, because this is probable, and also to strengthen our companies with AI? Let's look at the data. It's a pretty recent data from Germany, and we see that AI adoption, it's an overall adoption, went from 9% to 36% over a course of just 3 years. And overall, it looks pretty normal to me. It doesn't look too bad. The first fact is that 98% of German agencies use Gen AI, which is almost all of them and all of you in this room. Then most got stuck at a certain level and slowly educated, which is the normal case for any new tech. New tech comes out. Some people move forward, some get stuck and slowly educated. There's nothing wrong about this. It's pretty questionable, and there's a lot of questions in society on what is the GDPR aspects, how does it work with data privacy exactly, and especially the questionable is how they train those models and which data they use for it, but still they do. I mean, we cannot do stuff about it. And most importantly, so far, it didn't take anyone's jobs at a massive scale. Do you know anyone who got fired simply because of AI recently? There's one hand. So I personally don't know anyone who got fired with the reason that we don't need you anymore because AI can now do what you do, but better. On the surface, this looks like a normal technological adoption. We've seen this with mobile phones, with internet, with software as a service, the business model that Onepage has. There's nothing wrong about that. There's one interesting thing that is happening, and there's group one. I would call them the casual GPT users. There's people who occasionally use GPT to summarize this, write this. Regular tool use. And they treat AI as a tool and are pretty happy with it. But there's also the second group. It's businesses who use AI more as a partner. They know their way around it. They experiment with whatever new thing is coming out with the new models, with the new technologies all the time, and they actually know how to make it work for them. Those are the AI gigachats. And then think of it as a line. On the left side, we have the absolute majority, those casual GPT users. And then this group is the biggest one. They're slowly educating, maybe making some progress, but it's not significant. Most of them are stuck. And then on the right, we have a smaller group of AI professionals. And when I say AI professionals, I don't only mean people, but also companies. And these people are racing towards. For example, if for a casual GPT user, the new model, like the new model from Anthropic, wouldn't make much difference, then these guys on the right, they can be moved by a few points. So they significantly increase what they're capable to do with AI. And this gap, it widens. Who feels like they are more in a group one? Almost nobody. That's like a little bit. And then who's in AI gigachat? And what about the rest? Where are you guys? Alrighty. So this is good because this talk is for both of you guys. And before we go deeper, I would maybe like to repeat Marcel's points. I mean, I have to say that I read the slides and I know Marcel, but I don't know German. So, I mean, whatever he said, I didn't get it, so we might overlap a little bit. Why are we interested in AI? So why is such a rush about it? Why it's such a hot topic? If I'm thinking about it, I keep coming back at 3 points. So it's the speed, its capacity, and its client's expectations. So for me, it means that I can be faster, I can do more with less, and then my clients, so you expect it, and your clients expect it, and then I'm a simple man. I mean, if all of it happens, and most importantly, my competitors are using it, I'm using it too. So let's go through them one by one. Let's start with the speed. So yes, what took us, there's a recent study from MIT. I mean, even without MIT, we know that AI makes us faster, right? AI makes everyone faster. We do a lot of stuff with AI, and it's almost instant. But then the problem is that it actually drops in quality. So we have a quality drop, but not for everyone. And I'm going to explain to you what exactly happens. So what I'm observing is that if you hand over hand over an AI tool to a less experienced employee, then what normally happens is that they get better results from the get-go than they would do themselves. If you hand over AI to a skillful person, especially, I mean, I'll provide you an example of how it works in Onepage team, but then most probably it's going to make the result worse than they were capable of doing alone. And then the thing is that it really depends on the type of task that you use AI for. So BCG found that they got 40% of quality on creative tasks, but minus 23 on complex business problems, and I'll get to another example later. Second is capacity. What took us a week now takes a day. It's kind of true. I mean, we have a lot of internal examples in Onepage and how it works. But the problem is that, so it can be us, or it can be our employees. And we built our careers on a great execution. So we know how to work hands-on, we know how to do stuff. And now when AI takes it from us, what are we supposed to do? And a year ago, this was a question that was a little bit too early to ask because, I mean, AI didn't really take much of the work yet. It kind of wrote GPT emails, but now it's more relevant. What I'm observing inside Onepage is that, especially in the developer space. So see, is there any developers in the room? Just a couple, but I think it will be relevant for you. So developers like writing code, right? This is what they do. I mean, in fact, this might be the only thing they like. And the problem is that in the companies where AI is deeply integrated, AI already writes, let's say 50% of all the code. So your typical workday shifts from writing the code alone yourself to reviewing the AI output. So reviewing, cleaning up, fixing after AI. And this is a different work. Some people like it, and some people thrive in it, so they prefer it better. But some people, and especially important for skilled professionals, they hate it because it's different work. That's not what they started with. That's not what they love their jobs. And this will get even, this problem will get even bigger in future when more and more people, and this includes your teams and you, will actually switch the way they work to more being an AI operator. And we'll talk about this later. So not everyone thrives. Not everyone thrives equally. For some it's great, for some it's not good. The data says that what AI is good for is 70% troubleshooting, then programming, then critical thinking, management, and then only 58% on creative tasks. And the reason being is the better documented some process is, the more data LLMs has in it. Let's say it's coding. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of examples of code. That's why AI kind of picks it up. There's tons and tons and tons of examples of human writing, on the social media writing, the poem, and I mean, whatever people write. But when you ask it to do, and AI is going to be good with it, but when you ask it to do something creative, did anyone notice that you ask, let's say you ask GPT or Claude, I mean, whatever model you're using, to create something that do not exist yet, that is creative, that you want one of a kind, that it gets an output which is like super bad. Did it happen for you? It happened for a lot of people. And the reason being is that AI cannot go into the future. It only works with the past data sets. So the benefit of AI is really, really dependent on the type of task we're using it for. It is almost impossible to use AI to only rely on AI on the creative side, and most probably not going to be possible within the next couple years. But it's pretty easy to do anything with a well-documented, well-structured process. And I want to give you another example. So recently, Marcel mentioned this Claude Cowork thing, right? And when it launched, I think it was the day after, the stocks from certain legal companies in the US, they dropped by many points. And historically, it didn't ever happen like this. And the reason being that, because it's a tool for non-professionals that enables agentic for non-professionals, and there is a legal mode now, and legal is the space where, I mean, it's well documented, so there is a lot of legal information out there. Investors suggested that those bigger companies, those big companies that used to bill crazy hours for legal work will now might become obsolete. So of course it's scarcity, it's not going there because, I mean, if you lose 100,000 over a contract, will AI be responsible? I bet no, so the lawyers are still have a lot of work. But still, I mean, coding, legal, processes, HR, all of this AI can do very well from the get-go and already does. The more structured the task, the bigger the gain. And lastly, clients. So clients use GPT now, right? And I mean, they use it every day, so they know what AI can do. Maybe not like this. They think they know what AI can do. So especially those in service businesses, currently it creates this type of a weird situation when you know you're going to be using AI, and then the client know you're going to be using AI, but between you, it should look like neither of you use AI. Because then it doesn't justify your retainer, because then what am I paying for? So this thing where you use AI and then you get paid for it, it gets a little bit jealous on the client side. There was a recent study from Upwork. It's a big freelance platform in the US. And according to a study, they say that 52% of overall freelancers, which is crazy, lost at least one client in 2025 because AI use was too obvious. So the take from this is that we have to mask it. And later on, we'll get into how. Overall, what does it all mean? AI can turn you 10x more productive. It can also turn you 10x more frustrated, depending on how you use it, who uses this on your teams, and which tasks you use it for. And with all its flaws, so I've explained there is a lot of problems with AI. It's incapable of many things. It's hallucinating with tons of problems. And we'll get to this in Onepage AI example. The game is changing. And the businesses who understand how to play this new game now with AI, I believe they will do well. I mean, there is clearly no pathway for all of us losing our jobs. I mean, in fact, these businesses, they will get even more work because they will be in a unique position for that. And then to make that benefit real and smooth, so we were thinking of these two groups, group 1 and group 2, and this is why we built Onepage AI. So we wanted both groups to thrive equally, which I will explain didn't work quite well as we thought it is. And let's get into how we built Onepage AI. Let me get some water real quick. So how are you doing, guys? Good? Do you get something useful out of it? Yes. Thank you. No. I promise there will be examples. So the beginning was a little bit too long, but there will be a lot of examples, and I will show you everything that we do that we have time for. So Onepage AI, right? Started scrappy. The way we started with Onepage AI was early in 2025 when when everyone was doing AI, obviously. So there was tools like Lovable and this and that, and they were popping up, making us very anxious, I have to say. And we sat there and we were like, all right, so let's do something about AI ourselves. And we didn't know what exactly. And then there was one guy, one very talented developer on the team, and he tried it, and he found a way on how to paste LLM results into one page. So at the end of the day, you get the page. So this is how it started, and this is an example of the page that we got right away, kind of. So with a very few prompts, we got something like this. And most of you know this generic AI look, because from this to go to a more advanced one, I will show you what it takes. And we sat there for 6 months with almost no weekends and no holidays as a team of 3, and it gotten from 100 lines to more than 20,000 lines of prompts and codes to get AI to do this, which you might think is crazy. So why do you need 20,000 lines of prompts to do a page that is like maybe 50% better? Because AI is not designed for it. Because we're currently using AI wrong. I mean, this is what AI does by default, and this is what we want it to be. And in fact, we want it to be even better, and this is the current limitations we're fighting around. We built something that worked. We've realized that AI simply is enabled to deliver brilliant pages by default. Not even one model, because the thing about AI is that it's designed to give you an output which is an average of everything. Average of everything that humans have ever written, average of every page that had ever been created, and this is the average output. And we wanted it to go crazy. So we realized that, but we still wanted to proceed with it. So we decided not to fix this major issue, but try to fix these smaller issues that we have. And I think it was successful. We made pages that did not scream AI made it. At least they do not scream AI it's like every other AI that made it. So all right, it's pretty typical, but it doesn't look the same as Lovable and Bolt and other software. Then we are the first one, and I think we're still the first one, to make the generation as speedy, as fast. So it spits out almost immediately, and you see how your page is being built in a live format. And I think future on will double down on this. When AI will make more complex things, this speed and this accuracy that we have, it will actually compound. Then we were the first one to add tools. And the tools were these actions, these little actions where you can create multi-step forms, and you can create code and section variation, this and that. Our problem was that we created too many tools, because most of them are pretty average, so we'll fix that. And lastly, we were the first from Germany to ever do something in this space. So we're the only software in Germany that made this meaningful AI that is not a randomization, and that actually works with LLMs in some smart way like Lovable and other people and other companies do. And then we released it. And where's the slide? All right, so there was a slide where people got excited. Let's just not focus on the slide. So we released it, and people got excited, and they say, hey, it's such an awesome tool, I love it. And I mean, the feedback was great at the time of the release. And the day after, people started asking us questions. So, can it make exactly what I want? Can I have more control? Can I run my 1,000-step N8N automation where Onepage AI takes part in it? And I have to say, I was shocked. Because 6 months ago, when we started, people were like, wow, GPT writes emails. And we were working on this cool page builder with all of these styles and tools and multi-step funnels. And we were like really proud of ourselves. In fact, I was already looking for private jets. I was like, so how much does it cost? Because, I mean, we might get crazy with this. And then we released it. And people expect AI to do whatever they want, exactly like they want, with no mistakes, and we need to do this now. So it was a shocking moment, I have to say. It was pretty shocking to us, but I mean, it's our problem. And this is how quickly things change, and not only in our industry, but this applies to many of you as well. I bet there is clients of yours who expect you to move as faster as LLMs, and maybe even a little bit faster than them, and deliver whatever they want in whatever time they want. So we started working on it. We're like, all right, so we have Onepage AI, we need to adjust it. And this is very important for every company in this room, all right? When you work on something AI-related, you want to create an AI product. You want to incorporate AI in a meaningful level inside your companies. We were 3 people that were building Onepage AI in a man cave. 3 sweaty person, 24/7 work for 6 months. And we were not letting anyone in the company in that man cave, because we were progressing. We needed to make it fast. And now, when we need adjustments, we came to the team, to the rest of the team, and we're like, all right, so now it's done. Let's work on it together. And we realized is that all of our team is in group 1, they don't understand shit. They were looking at us with such a big eyes. I mean, they didn't get anything. What MCP is? What is an LLM is? I mean, what is agentic? And there is three very tired person team who was working for 6 months expecting some help, and we were speechless. I mean, we didn't even know what to start educating them with. And we struggled. We struggled for a solid couple months, and I have to say that this applies to everyone in this room. We'll get to this later. So the rest of the team didn't know yet how to design, support, or think in AI workflows. And the product, it couldn't evolve until the whole company understood this AI processes, tools, how the work is different. And this will be true for many of you too, especially if you're over 10 people in your company or you expect to grow in. It's for the software companies, for agencies, for service businesses, for SMBs. When your whole team is in the group 1 and you want to move to the group 2, unless you do that, you will not be able to do anything meaningful with AI. At least if your most important people, they don't understand what you're doing. And this is hard. Now let's get to some practical examples finally. So this is what we do. And this is there is some things that we did, there are some things that we do, and I will try to explain it to you in the most detail as I possibly can. So first of all, and this is very basic, but no one does it, is that someone has to own AI. If you're a solopreneur, if you have just a couple people, it has to be you. And I really encourage you not to go into the tech and not to try to understand it yourself. I really suggest everyone who wants to understand AI, not on a basic level, to hire a developer, at least a freelancer one. So it will be way easier for you. You will progress way faster. This is the reality. You have to understand a little bit of a coding, of a technical process. They will supercharge you. They will suggest you tools you are not using. They will suggest you different ways of thinking. You will stop struggling. It's one of the first and most important factors of how to move from group 1 to group 2 is to have developer along your side. If you're established, you just hire an AI person. But this doesn't work when you as a CEO or you as a director, you don't understand shit and you expect an AI person to handle it all for you. You have to be tuned to this. And in our example, in Onepage, we have around 6 people who are somewhat technical and who kind of install AI within the company. And also we have Marcel and me. And both Marcel and me have a pretty similar understanding of what AI is capable of. And in fact, Marcel participates in almost every product meeting that we have. That is a major one. He thinks, he listens, and then it moved him personally to group number 2 just by interacting with our dev team. The second one is, I think it's one of the first things that you can read in LLM tutorials. Any one of you ever read any suggestions, LLM documentations, tips for ChatGPT, tips for Claude, tips for... It's too little of you. If you will start reading, the first is going to be the prompt engineering, how to prompt. The second is going to be how to work with the context. And I see this very infrequently that anyone does it, so I would like to share it with you. So the context is a shared set of documents that gives AI the knowledge it needs to produce useful output. In fact, I will show you an example right away. It is the document that you upload along the question that you would like to ask AI. So let's say you work on the presentation, I'll also show you an example, and then you want to upload some important business context so that it knows right away all of the key details it needs to incorporate in the presentation. Or you work with a client, and this client has a specific brand voice or some decision log or anything that is important about this client. You don't explain it every time. You work on a single document once, you spend 5-6 hours on it, and then it saves you and your team tens and then hundreds hours of time. And I'll show you one little example. So there is a one-page strategy doc. It's a product strategy, all right? It is a 17 to 20 pages long document. And I created it And it was very hard to create it, and I was very close to failing all the time, but I did it. Because now, where you have AI, writing 17 pages almost feels too hard, right? So you want to use AI for everything, and I had to write it by hand. So it has all the numbers, everything we're going for, all the initiatives, like everything, and the people we work with, and I mean, it's a lot of data. I just created a long document which explains it all. And now, I'm used to making around 10 decisions per day. So there's people calling me, there's people writing me, there's people asking me for things. How do we do that? Should we add this feature? What's the tone for the email? Does it fit the roadmap? How should we position this? Whom do we hire? Whom do we fire? These types of questions, and these pile up. Any one of you who's burdened in routine, whose team is asking you all the time these type of questions? Maybe, yeah, it's a couple people. So now, what I do is that, in fact, it's not just the document they chat with. We uploaded it somewhere, but you can use Notebook LM for this, by the way. We have an MCP. I let everyone ask this thing first. You want a decision from me? This. Chat with it first. And what it did is that I used to have 10 plus, it's pretty recent. Now I have around 2-3 things that this document cannot solve. And you can ask me, like, so Nick, I mean, it's a chatting with the document. First of all, is it new? I mean, we used to create documents inside the company for quite a long time. It's like not a new secret management technique, right? I mean, there's documents, and we declare processes via documents. Yes, but these documents had never been so interactive. And we were never able to chat with our documents, and we were never able to chat with our documents with such a smart models, which, by the way, I really suggest you to use some of the more advanced models, at least to try, like Opus that Marcel mentioned, or Gemini Pro. And the second question that you might be asking is like, all right, so you really let people chat with it and then decide on their own? Kinda, because I created this document. And if you think that an LLM will be worse off than me in answering people based on some things that we have, it's not true. I mean, I've checked it, I've validated it. It's almost as good as myself and even better. So I completely trust this document for some of the decisions that we make inside the product team regarding prioritization, regarding features, regarding team constellation. And if it doesn't work, I will just improve the document. On a personal level, for me, it works like this. So first of all, I'm not a really organized person. So 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you would never hear from me that I created the whole data library on my laptop. I mean, my laptop is a mess. But now, I have this nice structure right on my laptop, and I've created it. In fact, AI created it, but it's kind of, we work together on it, right? And this is what it has. So it has the folder with the company things, the product things, what I like and what I dislike, so it's called the Nick style. Then it has deliverables, something that I produce, and then it has the reference, so it's kind of general glossary of like how to use it. I've spent maybe 3 or 4 hours working on this, and the most time went into corrections of all of these documents. Now I'm using agentic tools, so I'm mostly using Claude Cowork, which is, by the way, should be one of your key takeaways from this workshop, because just by using this tool, you will be, I don't know, like 3-5 times more productive than you ever was. And then, so I use Cowork and some of our internal tools that we have, but even if you're using simple chats, even if you're going to the chats, you can ask a chat to create a similar structure, and then you can just drag and paste the document, which you find relevant for the task. And it's gonna improve your outputs dramatically. So on a personal level, how does it look? Let's think of the junior people on your team and of the senior people on your team. So if a junior person, you just let them prompt on itself. They are bad at prompting. They will get way better results with this context documents right away. So by this, you guarantee the results of the juniors will get way better. And then for the seniors, the problem with them is that what I frequently notice is that I insist that a senior person starts using AI. And they're like, yes, I'm using AI. So I'm like, here is AI. And they're like, I'm using it. And then they start using AI. And what I notice is that they do want to attempt to prompt with AI. And then when I'm asking about, so how is it? They're like, I mean, I'm just finishing up myself. It's all good. It's going to be taken care of. And I don't want this. I want speed. I want the real great results with AI. So what I've noticed is that having this nice context structure for every for every senior team on the team helps them believe more in AI because it feels more like them, because it gets them to the better results. So it kind of motivates them. They're already good, but with this, they get something which feels more like them. Would you do something like this? Yeah, a little bit. Good. It's going to be working well for you. So I get really lazy, and I was thinking, so which examples should I tell about how this works for me, and ask AI to do this? So here's what it thinks about my nice structure. When you ask, write a stakeholder update, I already know Marcel. By the way, it doesn't know Marcel exists. It just picked it up from one of the sheets. So it knows that Marcel exists, cares about DACH numbers. You hate M dashes. I don't hate M dashes, just looks at AI generated. And the real metric is this for AI attachment rate. So it's just a random fact that it picked up from the document. There is no 5 questions clarification round. Yes, every time I start anything I do, it kind of goes and looks for things it thinks is useful, so I don't have to explain again over and over. And then the second is that no repeated mistakes. So I have a rejected path document, means with something that we are not going for. There is like a few lines about it. It means that I will not suggest some stupidity. Your decision log means I will not reinitiate things you already decided. So yes, there is a decision log, and it's actually synced with transcripts that we have. So we record Google Meets and some meetings, and then it kind of parses the decision log in it. Your voice, not AI voice. Your write-in style doc explicitly bans words like game changer, unlock, and motivational speaker garbage. First draft sounds like you wrote them. I mean, they do not sound like I wrote them, but they really do sound better than the output that I need, the output that it kind of does by default. So I spend less time changing it. And lastly, real numbers, and every deliverable I create becomes context for the next task. The system gets smarter as you use it. I mean, I love it. So again, I've spent 5 hours building it. AI updates it for me. I use it for myself. I think I've already saved over 100 hours just by not explaining AI every time what I need, and also on the quality of the output. I think it's worth it, especially now when AI can do this for yourself. And we are rolling this company-wide. So we do want every employee to have their own context docs with the company context docs. How can this work for a service business? So for each client, are there any agencies in there? Agencies and freelancers? Nice, it's like around 50%. So for each client, you build a context folders, like a brand voice, campaigns, I mean, whatever you want, whatever you think is important. It's, by the way, called the business brain. You can Google by the term business brain. It's a common knowledge. And then any team member can ask AI, draft a LinkedIn post for client X, and get something usable on the first try. Believe me, this really works like this. And if it doesn't get something usable on the first try, then you either switch the model or you change the document. That's it. Onboarding new hires to accounts become faster. You stop re-explaining the same things. You get it. The agents. So everyone's AI, agents. An agent got depressed recently. So people are using agents. I don't think that too many of you really created an agent, but some did, and some are really successful with it. So I offer you a very simplistic view on which agents you can do for yourself and for your company, and my view is the following. It doesn't need to be completely automated. It doesn't have to be super hard-coded, and it doesn't have to take 100 hours to create a very smart agent that does it all. In fact, AI sees, AI thinks, AI drafts, you finish. This is the best agent you can get. You go through your company, you check what do you do most frequently. You check for which knowledge do I have, which expertise do I have to explain to AI in explicit terms so it can repeat after me. And then you create a very simple agent. This is what we have in Onepage internally. It's called Onepage Signal Intelligence. So this is how it looks. What do we do is that before, we have 16,000 customers, all right? And if you don't know what 16,000 customers means, it means a lot of messages and a lot of complaints and a lot of feature requests and a lot of feedback, and all of it is happening in 15 different channels. Some people write us on a live chat, some people write us on Google reviews, some people write us in private, some people write us on WhatsApp, and we love you. The problem is that we cannot hear all of you. We are not able to. It's impossible. With any of the tool, you cannot really understand, as a stakeholder, you cannot really understand what's happening with the company right now. What should I address my view on right now? What has priorities? Who are struggling? And I have to say that by the end of the last year, it gotten really, really bad because we did not expect the growth, the scale that we had. So we went from around 6,000 customers at the beginning of 2025 to 16. So we kind of almost tripled, right? In the amount of customers, it's crazy. And then I went there and I was like, all right, so what are our next product priorities? And then with people who are like writing me on WhatsApp, and then like Costa writes me this, and then team writes me that. And I'm like, all right, so maybe this is important, but maybe it actually isn't. So I was really confused. What's happening now is the following. Every piece of feedback we get analyzed by our agent. So basically every message you send us, we fed into AI. And it's supposed to distinct little things. Like, for example, if you complain about the code on the page, it has to be different. It has to go in a different bucket than the code element. So it has to be intelligent, but all of it you can do with like a couple prompts. Then similar feedback, I can show you, so this is the signal. Similar feedbacks compounds and they group into signals. So let's say there is a 50, 60, 70, 100 complaints about something today. It creates a signal. It says, hey, integrations has a problem. You have to look at it. And then we see everything what's going on in a live format. So we collect all this data and it kind of gets rearranged live. And then it creates very good tickets. It goes into our code base. It checks for the problem. And it creates very good tickets for developers by itself. They're like really good. And even it can partially execute them by itself. So this is a crazy one. We're really proud of the one that we've built. It does a lot of stuff, and it does a lot of stuff precisely. But if your little agent does even one thing out of these 5 things, and it's helpful for your business, that's all you need. And then, where the ticket gets created, a human runs an execution. They control. So we do not let the thing work on itself. And then here's an example. So recently, a single user encountered a tracking integration where the metapixel is firing duplicate event, whatever. So it got created a ticket, the human approved it, iterated with it a little bit, and then it's set for execution. It's done. Your bug is fixed. Here you go. And we expect more accuracy, more control, and more productivity in our development team by the end of 2026. Now we're testing it. So mostly, we use it for signals to understand what's going on, to help us create tickets. We're not executing in an autonomous way, but we're getting there slightly. So this might not be the simple agent. This might not be the best example, but I think I wanted to show you what's even possible. It's actually possible to automate it end to end, but what you do is that you identify a single thing that you can do inside your business, and you play around with an agent a little bit. You try it. Believe me, the first agent, especially if you create it with the developer, when you do this first agent, when you educate yourself of, all right, so I used to do this, and now it does this for me, this is the aha moment. You feel way more confident to write another 100 agents. So it's not a rocket science for you anymore, and I suggest you start with one. All right, this was in Marcel's presentation, because we looked at the same source. But then I'll add my personal knowledge into this. So the E-shaped hires. First of all, start teaching people broader skills. Designers now code in Onepage. Business analytics now know product and business. I mean, we educate everyone everything because it wasn't ever the best time, like today, to be a skillful generalist. Know a little bit of everything. When you know a little bit of everything, you thrive with AI. A little bit of everything plus curiosity, you thrive in AI. And then secondly, I mean, whatever important person you hire right now inside your team, I suggest you ask them about AI. If they are skeptics, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. I mean, in a year from now, the landscape's going to be different. In a year from now, the robot's going to cure from depression, and they're going to be curing us. So if you have too many AI skeptics on your team that will not help you, please Start hiring AI optimists. This is going to do well for you. So we had it even before this AI trend exists. We have 5, maybe 6 solid E-shaped person on the team. Before AI, it led to one page being created by the team, less of 20, while it actually required like 60 people. Now with 6, 7 people like this, plus the rest of the team, we're able to pull off the work that 100 does, and we're progressing from that. So the more unique people with different combinations of skills you have, I think the more beneficial is for your small business, for your agency, for whatever you're doing, basically. And if you're a freelancer, I suggest you start exploring those angles. So it's like you explore design a little bit, you explore business a little bit, you explore marketing a little bit, pick the angle. And then with this, you will be a solo machine. You will be able to create products on your, like vibe code stuff on your own. You will be able to produce very meaningful things for your clients alone. You don't need anyone now. So Marcel mentioned this Mexican standoff. Yes, it's true. I mean, now everyone can do the job of everyone, and they're like standing there waiting for your place. But yeah, so the trend right now is complementary for E-shaped people. This is the formula. You have senior people, you have wide skills, you multiply this by AI, you receive real power. The more you have, the better for you. And there is a prediction that agency, IT outsourcing, many service businesses might evolve from we build a thing to we create this AI-powered thing, or we create a thing with AI right now together, maybe even on site with the client. This requires generalists who understand the client's business problem, can work with AI systems, and build with the same client in real time. The closest analogy I can provide you about this were consultants, where consultants were deployed on the client side, they were performing some work, but now it's real work. All right, hopefully no consultants there. Instead of blindly using AI, we add taste and judgment. So here's very simple. If AI can take work from us, then what's left? We know that AI is incapable of many things because it looks into the past. It looks into the data sets that already exist in. And it cannot, if we are innovative, AI is not much of a help. So if we still want to use AI and be productive and be faster, the real value for that clients will be happy to pay for is your own taste, judgment, and accountability. I showed you, let's start with the taste. I just showed you that AI pages that it generates by default is total mess. We applied a lot of taste, and our taste means 20,000 lines of code and prompts to make pages exactly like we want them to be. Then the judgment. The judgment is, it's kind of, you as a professional, you have to know when to improve, when to stop, most importantly. I will provide you with one example. So, let's say, and later you tell me if it happened to any of you. Let's say you write an email for your client, and you're like, all right, so write an email for this client, this is what they like, this is what they don't like, and then it writes an email, and it's a great email. And you're like, okay, so this is a great email. And you ask AI, so is it a great email? And AI replies, it's 11 out of 10, man, it's so good, and it compliments it within like 2 pages. But never ever you ask to criticize it. If you ask, but now criticize this email, it comes up with a wall of criticism. And you're like, man, you just said it's good. So the problem is that this is the moment where many realize AI is not real intelligence. It simply reaffirms whatever your way of thinking is. So when you're not able to apply the sense of judgment of when do I have to finish, when this is done, what should I actually be doing? Which deliverables should I do? AI is not helpful. This is what the humans define. So this is where the value is. And the better you are at it, the more you thrive with AI, the better value and offer you provide for the clients. And lastly, accountability. I've provided you with an example on legal firms now being replaced by AI. But again, Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, they will not pay for the lost money in a contract where, you kind of separate a comma in a wrong manner. So you're still accountable. Humans are still accountable for whatever AI produces. Well, this is the new value proposition. Everyone's going to be working with AI. We're going to be working more and more with AI. In fact, maybe in a year from now, we will only be looking at the chats all the time or the AI agents. So maybe the rest of our work is gone. But what humans will continue doing is they will have taste, they will have judgment, and they will be held accountable for whatever result there is. And this is the framework. And there's a nice quote from the Rick Rubin guy. I don't think that anyone knows Rick Rubin, but he works with these famous musicians like Jay-Z, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he has this quote: so, "I have no technical ability, and I know nothing about music. The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel has proven helpful for others. And it cannot be more true in the times of AI." But he's not talking about AI, right? And then the example is going to be this presentation. I'm going to be speeding up right now, but this is a nice example as well. So the way I've created this presentation, Marcel had the same example. This is the summary that I asked AI to write post-chat. So we had a chat. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna have an audience. Please explain what we did. And this is my secret process. Now it's not so secret anymore. So I started with the general prompt. What has to be done? What's the audience? Germans, this amount of people, this is the talk. Then it automatically went and scanned my laptop for anything useful, which is my little library that I've shown you before. Automatically, I didn't have to do anything. Then it fetched one-page examples. So all the examples I've shown you, I didn't write them. It came up with it from the recent documents. Then I ran 3 parallel versions, where one was creativity focused, one I asked to double down on web research, and then there was a famous figures role play. By the way, it's a pretty fun one. So you ask AI to impersonate a couple people and do something together. Like in this case, there was an AI CPO, and then like Wolfgang someone, this DACH expert, I asked him, so it's going to be Germans, please criticize. Do everything logical, like get rid of anything in the narrative. I mean, cut corners, do everything so they like me. And I mean, it was criticizing all the time, and it created their version of presentation. And then there was a jury. I asked to create a jury. So there was an audience like you in the room. So I asked DACH SMB owner, business owner, and software founder to score the versions. And AI kind of came up with the scoring. And then what works best, I incorporated in this new presentation, which you see, and just handpicking, and a little bit, just a storyline a little bit, corrections done. It was took me 4 hours, like 3 hours. It's a pretty nice process. I mean, for me, it works. So who find this interesting? Oh, it's cool. Thank you. Thank you. So what I did is that I was well prepared. I've applied my taste. I had a judgment because I finished on time. I wasn't working on these slides today in the morning. I finished on time. This is it. This is enough. And then I'm held accountable. At the end of the day, I'm presenting this to you. So I have to be responsible for whatever AI writes in it. And it took a few steps, but now you cannot tell it apart from one I'd create myself, because I created it myself. One-page styles, the same example. From this to this, judgment style, judgment and taste. Offer, this is important, offer what was impossible before. So there was another Mark Andreessen quote: when some services become cheap, the instinct is to lower prices. So now everyone can do anything with AI, creatives, landing pages, videos, podcasts, whatever. Then immediate response is that the agencies, freelancers, and even some businesses, they drop the price. So now we can do it for cheaper, but for more clients. And this is the race to the bottom. The better solution is to offer more complex, results-driven services that the customer with AI cannot replicate. One-page example. A year ago, we were a just website builder. You loved it, but many people said, oh man, I mean, in 5-10 years, it's going to be extinct. No one's going to need website builders. I will just chat, get a website, done. So instead of watching how potentially in 5 to 10 years our business will become obsolete, we started working on it. Now we have Onepage AI, and instead of our weakness that we might have encountered, we now have a strength, because we can thrive in AI era, actually. And this is the mindset. Instead of sitting and watching how AI potentially is going to replace us in your business, in our business, we should do something about it. And it's not drama, it's not panic, but if you incorporate at least a few things from the examples that I've shown and change your value proposition, this can actually do very well for you. Alrighty. For example, I mean, this is AI's example, right? Instead of 3 months projects, you offer 2-day workshops where you build your products with clients in the room. AI handles whatever it handles, while your team work on decisions, results. Clients see their idea come to life immediately. They wouldn't be able to achieve this quality with AI alone. All right, so this example, or, I mean, your services like this. I do landing pages. Now, you don't do landing pages. You do 10 or 15 versions of landing pages until it works. Not I do creatives or I do performance campaigns, but I do performance campaigns with amount of iterations that until I achieve certain results, and so on. So now, because we're faster, also what many people do is that they have this save time and they just cut the margins from the company, so they just pay themselves. While the real go-to is to reinvest the time that you now have into complexity of the service that you have, or into quality of the service that you have. And with this, make it stronger for customer, and with this, thrive and easily win with those who just drop the prices, because now you offer something more complex. Now AI can do it, so now you switch to something else. You become more strategic. Alrighty, there's a nice quote from an Austrian-American management thinker, which is efficiency is doing things right, and effectiveness is doing the right things. It's, by the way, from this German version, so the Wolfgang, he thought this is a nice quote for a German audience. I bet you liked it. All right, so, and these are the tips that we do many more, but we have a format of 1 hour. So these are something that we do that works for us in Onepage internally, how we transform the company. It's super productive right now. It's crazy things that we do. We do this for us. You might do this for yourself. Let's meet in the next year, and you will tell us how it went. Hopefully, you've tripled your business by then already. Lastly, how Onepage AI becomes your partner this year. So now this is important. First of all, I have to apologize for that we didn't really update Onepage AI much since the release. I've explained the factors that led to this, but it's not that, I mean, it's not your problem, it's our problem. It's that we were at fault by thinking that we can evolve this product with just 3 people. So we had to take a detour. We had to install this AI thing inside the company. We had to explain everyone what are we doing. We had to think. We had to do a bunch of meetings. So now we're progressing. And with AI, I will not be showing you much of an images and tell exactly what are we going for. Instead, it's going to be the blurry roadmap because everyone is copying each other. Now with AI, it's a little bit easier. So I want to keep it a little bit secretive. So there's going to be a generation mode with no preset styles when you control more. So there was a complaint that customers want complete flexibility. So there will be one generation type where you can do the page exactly how you want it. But beware, if it sucks, that's on you now. There's going to be AI producing meaningful, complex multi-step funnels with logic and query parameters. So we will bring AI to multi-step funnels, and these multi-step funnels can get crazy complex. So it will write code for you and the logic rules, and it can be really big and can be like small and integrated. So multi-step funnel generation will receive an upgrade, and actually this is a pretty easy one to do, especially considering all the data that we have in Onepage on analytics and conversion of multi-step funnels. There will be a narrative, so the generating other page types, not just the home pages. In fact, when you create a page right now in Onepage, this will only be the home page. You can kind of work it weights so it's about us page or a pricing page, but it doesn't really work like this because it's AI on Rails. We will ship in narratives so you will be able to build complete websites in whatever page types that you want. We're currently working on this. In fact, this is going to be my job, so I'm going to have to write prompts about this. Then there's going to be better code generation. We've noticed it takes some time to get to the nice code. We're fixing that. It's a very stupid, very mundane process of creating a lot of examples for AI to recognize as good and bad ones. We have people for it now. They are working on it. And lastly, there will be an ability to upload the business brains that I've suggested you, these context documents, per client. If you work with clients, you will be able to upload the custom context that then will affect the generation, so you will get more meaningful results, and you will not have to re-prompt over and over. So you just set it up for a client, and it's done. In case you need anything, you update the context. There's going to be also 2 new features which are coming a little bit lately, not shortly. You will be able to draw some inspiration from external pages. Let's say you like some design elements or you like a copyright and style. I mean, we cannot really steal the pages, but you will be able to be inspired by it. And then you will be able to rework a page in a style, which is extremely useful, especially for existing old pages. So unlike Remix, you will be able to click, this generation style, and it will change, it will keep the content, but then change how the page looks. So it's going to refresh the page. So all of you who has, especially who has like agency clients or who has older pages, a lot of pages, it will be very useful for you. Then we've realized a few things. First of all, we've realized that we have this group 1 and group 2. And Onepage, I will not lie, it started for people in the group 1. It was many years ago. We wanted to build a simple builder. And somehow, all of you are there now. All of you NA10, 100 steps people. So now we're serving 2 audiences. We're serving group 1 and we're serving group 2 at the same time. And then we've neglected connectivity for quite a long time, so we will be going for API this year. Onepage will be able to be a part of your crazy workflows, and I think we'll do a pilot project with a couple of partners, and you'll be able to test it out. I will not be able to communicate when this is exactly going to happen, but maybe Q2, Q3 this year. Then there's going to be the chat. First, the one you expect, the chat with the page, then the one you doesn't expect later in the year. Enough said. We'll be able to tune Onepage a little bit more to how you like it, so it's not for clients, but how you like it. And lastly, Onepage AI will be working with the CMS. It will be generating the content, we'll work on the content, you will be able to control the CMS via Onepage AI. And there's going to be a system that we use internally that produces great results for us. It's a set of agents that we have in Onepage internally. And we would like to install it for like every Onepage customer. There's going to be something that will make you say wow by the end of the year, and no other software, I kept this promise, will be able to replicate this very quickly. Alrighty, with Triple our AI team, we had also a problem with we were a little bit understaffed. Now it's almost 9 people who will be working just on AI. So I think the roadmap is pretty realistic. And yeah, I'm running out of time a little bit, but then before going for AI, last year I was there on stage and I was promising you CMS and mobile build and many other things. I'm really guilty about that, but this is really how it was. So Onepage team was expecting to only work on the builder in 2025, and then somehow we got shifted to AI. So now I'm going to show you some features that are on track. Of course, the CMS, the more complex logic, maybe with some scoring elements, the password protection, the redirects, and even the A/B testing later this year. We also decided to upgrade the builder more frequently. It was happening like this. Frequently, we would completely concentrate on one functionality, and we would neglect new elements, new design stuff, and then when we would release design stuff, you would be very happy. So we decided, why not we just release it every quarter? So every quarter, there will be 2-3 new elements, or things, design things, that you'll be able to use in Onepage, and also the old ones will get rework and adjustments. So currently you can see we'll have tabs, you'll have custom fonts, we'll have table elements, moving text, reviews. This stuff that you see is currently in development already. We'll have pinpoints, before and after slide, the ability to like tip on the maps, and even the pattern generation on the backgrounds. This, by the way, is the closest one to production. We're also addressing issues. We are upgrading webhooks. We are massively working on integrations. We are fixing the CRM. And by the way, this AI agentic system that I told you about helps a lot with this. So we are really more attentive now to the bugs and to all the feedback that we've collected. And yes, again, the team is now bigger. So this is dedicated people working on this, dedicated people working on that, and also dedicated team is working on AI. So we can keep many angles. We decided to keep a live chat, which is very complicated with 16,000 people. So we tripled the team, and we're currently still working on it. And the support team is, by the way, there. So I suggest a round of applause for people who help you out every day. Yes, as we're clear on what's next, and I'm already 10 minutes more than I should have spoken. I really want to thank you for being a part of Onepage community. We really value that. There's a lot of people who are coming to every event that we have. There's a lot of people who used Onepage 1.0. I really apologize from my side as well. It was a bad product, but I'm glad that you stick. I'm glad that you survived this and now use Onepage. Hopefully you like it and it will make it even better. Connect. I want to do this for you. If you scan this QR, you get this presentation. Previously, when I was explaining something, I mean, less than 1% would implement this. Now, you can use this little prompt and upload it alongside with my presentation and specifically ask AI. And I suggest you use Claude Opus 4.6 inside the cowork for this. Based on all the suggestions in this presentation, which things can we implement for my business? And then when it writes down and you correct it, say start implementing, start writing. You will be surprised how amazingly high quality this will be. So now, hopefully it was practical for you, and enjoy the event, connect with people, and have a great time. It was a pleasure to have you.